Phones with dual cameras are no longer niche devices nowadays, as evidenced by the launch of dual camera equipped models of many OEMs in the past few months. ASUS is the latest company to launch their own dual camera equipped device in the form of the Zenfone 3 Zoom. And while the original Zenfone Zoom managed to deliver on its promise of providing optical zoom capabilities in a handy package, it was lacking in both image quality and fidelity. This year, ASUS aims to change that with the Zenfone 3 Zoom, which uses the dual camera tech to achieve the promises of the original without sacrificing image quality. Hey guys, what's happening? Jamie here from Unbox, and this is an initial review for the ASUS Zenfone 3 Zoom. Before we dive into the Zenfone 3 Zoom's camera capabilities, let's take a look at its externals first. The design of the Zenfone 3 Zoom is quite familiar to anybody who has ever held the Taiwanese company's mid-range offerings recently. The design of the metal body is similar to the Zenfone 3 Max and Zenfone 3 Laser, so much so that you'd probably mistake the phone for either of those units if it wasn't for the conspicuous dual camera setup on the rear. On the front though, the phone feels more like the original Zenfone 3, with its 2.5D glass and 5.5-inch Super AMOLED Full HD display. The Super AMOLED panel looks pretty, bright and vibrant, and its brightness is more than enough to deal with the noonday sun. The phone's button layout is pretty much the same compared to other ASUS offerings. You have the volume rocker on the right along with the power button, on the left side sits the hybrid micro SD/SIM card slot, and on the bottom sits a 3.5mm jack along with a USB Type-C connector and a single speaker grill. Inside the phone you have the same Snapdragon 625 octa-core processor that powers the original Zenfone 3, along with either 3GB or 4GB of RAM and 32GB or 64GB of expandable storage. No surprises in the Antutu score of the phone, since the hardware arrangement is nearly identical to the Zenfone 3 that we've already reviewed. Android Marshmallow powers the phone along with our constant software nemesis, Zen UI. We're pleasantly surprised to know that the Zenfone 3 Zoom has a 5000 mAh battery inside of it, which means a lot for the phone's endurance, especially with the relatively power-efficient Snapdragon 625 octa-core processor. With that out of the way, let's talk about the cameras. The Zenfone 3 Zoom has twin 12-megapixel rear cameras that have different zoom levels. One is set at 1x zoom, while the other is set at 2.3x optical zoom. The overall zoom levels for the camera fall short of the original's 3x zoom, but will gladly take that reduced level for a slimmer phone. Both cameras have an f-stop of 1.7, which is impressive for a mid-range phone. This also allows for a bunch of things. A lower aperture means that the lenses can collect more light, which means, theoretically, better performance in low light conditions. It also means that the phone can natively create impressive bokeh shots without the need for software tweaking, although you can do that as well with the included shooting modes in the camera. We've included a few shots for you to peruse during our limited time with the phone. That's pretty much it for this hands-on and initial review for the ASUS Zenfone 3 Zoom. No official price has been set for this phone in the Philippines as of yet. From what we can surmise, the pricing for this phone will fall close to the official SRP of the original Zenfone 3, which may result in ASUS officially canning the 5.5-inch Zenfone 3 and replacing it with this model. But that's our take on it anyway. If you like this video, make sure you give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you turn on the notifications. If you have any questions regarding the ASUS Zenfone 3 Zoom, leave it in the comment section down below. This is Jamie, and I'll see you next time.